What's up, everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh and welcome to the Minority Mindset and welcome back to our new Monday edition. I talked about in a previous video why I only use a credit card to make my purchases because of the perks and protections that you get. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it in the description below. But in this video, I'm gonna really show you why that is. I use the Capital One Spark Cashback credit card for all of my business transactions. They're not paying me to say this. That's just who I use because I like cashback. I don't like paying the gifts game or the perks game or the miles game because it's just a lot of time trying to figure out how to get the best deal for my miles or the perks. I just want the cashback because it's easy to use, it's simple, and I can use it however I want. And I can use that cashback as an investment bonus to invest in other things. Like I've talked about before, you can use your cashback from your credit card company to invest in other credit card companies. Well, I just got 2 letters in the mail from Capital One sent to my home address with checks attached to them. I got 2 checks because I have 2 Capital One cards. One is for Minority Mindset and the other is for my real estate business. And for my real estate business, the check is $495.56. And for Minority Mindset, I got $3,177.43, which adds up to a total of $3,600 something. This $3,600 that I got from cashback isn't gonna make me rich, but it's $3,600 that I got for making the purchases that I would normally make in my business transactions just because I used a credit card instead of using a check or a debit card. I mean, it's like $3,600 worth of free cash that I can use however I want just for using this particular credit card to make these transactions that I had to make anyways. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Jaspreet, didn't Capital One just get hacked and 100 million accounts got their identity potentially stolen or compromised? Well, I already had my identity stolen. I already made a video where I talked about this and I'll link that in the description below as well. So my information and my credit information and my private information is all pretty secure and frozen because I already had my identity stolen. So everything is on hold and frozen. So you can't even access my accounts if you tried to. So I guess this hacking doesn't really affect me or shouldn't affect me. But regardless, having your information hacked or stolen is a risk you take nowadays for breathing. I mean, if you're on the internet, if you shop on Amazon, if you do anything on the internet, your information is out there. So, you know, it could have happened to anybody. Yeah, it happened to Capital One. It's also happened to Equifax, and it's also happened to a number of other companies. So it's really our duty nowadays to protect ourselves and our identities. There's a lot of companies that help you do that because our information is out there. It's up to us now to really protect this and look after it. And thankfully, credit card companies have identity protection programs. So if something were to happen, you are not necessarily liable. I mean, they have insurance to protect you from these type of things. So even if somebody opens up another credit card under your name, you have insurance to protect you through the credit card. The reason I'm making this video is not to show off saying, oh, look, I have all these business expenses and I get all this cash back. It's because I used to have a very different opinion on credit cards. I talked about this before, but when I was growing up and I started getting into the whole financial education, financial literacy world, I was very against credit cards because I kept hearing about all these bad things that came with credit cards, like credit card debt and just going crazy over credit cards. So I avoided credit cards at all costs for a pretty long time until I was finally pushed over the edge. I had my cash stolen from my wallet twice. I had a couple issues with debit cards where I made purchases where I didn't get the product and I couldn't do anything because I used a debit card. So I finally got a credit card. And that's when I realized that, wow, credit cards don't make people financially stupid. It's bad financial habits that ruin people. Credit cards are just a tool. If you have bad financial habits, this credit card, or any credit card for that matter, is going to fuel your bad financial habits. But if you're a smart spender, and you know how much you can afford and you know how much to spend and you live below your means and you only buy the things that you would normally buy with cash and you pay off your credit card balance in full 100% of the time and you never miss a payment, well, now credit cards can reward you with free perks, free cash, free rewards just for using a credit card to making the purchases you would normally make. The way these credit card companies work is you have Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, and whoever. These companies charge the merchants. So if you go shopping at Amazon or Walmart or wherever and you buy $100 worth of things, Visa, MasterCard are going to charge Amazon, Walmart a 2% or 3% fee for processing the transaction with this credit card. So if you go and spend $100 at Walmart with your Visa, Visa is going to charge Walmart for processing this transaction. Now, if you use Visa, Visa will want to incentivize you to use Visa instead of MasterCard, so they will pay you with cash back if you make your payments on time. The whole idea is Visa and all these credit card companies are giving you a kickback for using their credit card instead of somebody else's, because Amazon and Walmart and Macy's are paying the credit card companies for processing the transaction. But the issue here is that the majority of people, when they use a credit card, they get really excited about these perks. And so they go and spend more than they should. Like they think, oh, I'm gonna make 1.5% cash back, so let me go and spend 20% more than I should on my credit card. And then these credit card companies get a windfall because, yeah, they're getting paid by the store, they're getting paid by Amazon, Macy's, Walmart, but now they're also getting paid by the consumer, because consumers are spending way more than they should on credit cards, and they're using credit cards to finance their lifestyles, and credit cards aren't cheap. So I just pulled up this Forbes article here that talks about how Americans paid over $100 billion in credit card interest. I believe this is from 2017. This is the first time, I believe, in history that Americans ever paid over $100 billion in credit card interest and fees alone. And the reason this is so significant, because right here, this first line, at 15.5%, the average interest rate is up 300 basis points over the last 5 years. 15.5% is the average interest rate on credit cards. Now, this 104 billion figure in the title is the total amount of money credit card companies made from fees and interest. So if your credit card charges you $50 a year, well, that's added up to this figure. So it's a little skewed because, you know, it's okay to pay a fee if you're making that fee back. But take a look at this. Look at this next line. The total revolving debt for credit card debt is now at $1.04 trillion. And this is back in 2018, August 16th, 2018. Credit card debt passed $1.04 trillion, surpassing the 2008 peak back in 2018. So $1 trillion at 15% a year in interest. That's a lot of money consumers are paying in credit card debt. And this $104 billion, yes, over the last 12 months alone, that's what we just talked about. So credit card debt is expensive, but now compare that to this. This is a little bit more recent. This is from 2019. This title says that 55% of Americans with credit card debt have, 55% of Americans with credit cards have credit card debt. So the majority of people with credit cards are not using credit cards properly, because 55% of people with credit cards are in credit card debt. And if you scroll down, the interesting thing here is 22% of people have a credit card balance between $100 and $500 according to the survey, and 10% of people, about 1 in 10 people, said they have a balance of over $5,000 on their credit card. And remember, the average credit card interest rate is 15.5%. That is very, 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 very expensive. The majority of the people are using credit cards wrong. So what does this mean? This means that if you use a credit card, you have to know how to use it properly. $1 trillion in credit card debt is insane, and it is so expensive. However, you can be on the winning side of this equation if you know how to use your money. You spend only what you can afford. You only buy the things you would normally buy with cash, and you treat your credit card like cash. So you pay off your credit card balance every single month. Now, instead of getting a fat bill from your credit card company, you can get a fat check from your credit card company for doing the things, buying the things that you would normally buy just because you use your credit card. Look, these rewards are not gonna make you rich. So if you can't control your spending, don't use a credit card. It's not worth it. But if you know how to spend your money, then using a credit card can get you free cash for literally doing nothing. Just because you use a credit card, you can get some extra cash in your pocket, but you have to be a smart spender. And this is what we're seeing the majority of people are doing wrong. The majority of people are getting credit cards because they think they have to have one, and then they're overspending because they're thinking, oh, I'm gonna get 1% cash back, or I'm gonna get 2% cash back, so let me go and overspend. Don't do that. I want you to build smart financial habits. This way you can learn to use the system to your advantage instead of getting abused by it. Because unfortunately, right now, the majority of people are getting abused by the system. So I need you to come onto the winning side of the equation. Now that you've heard my thoughts on this, I want to hear yours. Do you use a credit card? And if so, why? What are the perks that you're looking for? Is it cash back, miles, perks? What are they and why? Let me know in the comments below. We read every single comment that we get, and I'm interested to see what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on our next Monday edition. We really need to come up with a better name for this. And as always, keep hustling.